On the day of the national violin competition, all the other contestants had their families with them. I looked at the empty seats in front of me and couldn't help but ask when I got home, "Didn't you say you were all coming today? If you don't show up, I'll die." See? My mom impatiently looked at me and said, "If you want to die, then go die. You bought 3 tickets for 4 of us. Are you trying to exclude Clara's?" My brother rolled his eyes. "What's so great about a violin competition? Clara's at a skateboarding contest. That's way cooler than you scratching that fiddle." My dad then added, "Why can't you be as confident as Clara? You're not a child anymore, needing people to accompany you just to play the violin." Looking at my family's twisted faces, I began to wonder if I was actually the orphan from another family. At this moment, the system warned me that upon mission failure, they'd deploy a perfect daughter to take my place. But even after the perfect daughter took my place, they would ask her where I had gone. As the host revealed the champion, the crowd erupted into thunderous applause, with so many people rising to their feet cheering for me. I heard this contestant has won every competition she's entered. She's made her parents so proud. Look how amazing her violin skills are compared to yours. You both started around the same age. How did the gap get so huge? How come everyone else has their families here, but we don't see hers around? I unconsciously looked at the empty seats in front of me. They had clearly promised to come watch my competition today. Why didn't they come? If they don't show up, I'll die. After stepping off the stage, I crouched helplessly in a corner and called my mother 5 times straight. None of the calls went through until half an hour later, when she finally answered with an irritated, "What do you want?" Asked her why she didn't come to my competition. It kept showing the other party is typing. I lost track of time crouching there until my legs went numb, when finally Mom's text came through. There was an emergency at the beauty salon. Dad and my brother's excuses were practically identical. One claimed he was stuck at work, the other insisted he had school makeup classes and couldn't come. "Your time's up." They didn't show, and the favorability still isn't at 100. A mechanical voice rang out in my head. I couldn't help pleading desperately. "They were just delayed. Could you give me one more chance?" They were supposed to come to my performance. The system fell silent for a moment. Scan indicates the targets are watching a skateboarding competition at Happiness Square. Happiness Square? Isn't that right next to our community? My heart sank to the depths once more. I already knew, even without the system telling me. They must be with Clara again. 10 years ago, I crossed over into this world. The system told me that if I could raise my family's favorability to 100, I could restore my body from the accident that killed me in my original world. So, for the past 10 years, I've been bending over backwards to please everyone, meticulously keeping track of each person's preferences and daily routines. Finally, a year ago, their favorability toward me hit 99, right when I thought I could finish the mission and regain my health. Clara came into our lives. Her name used to be Lena. She is my mom's cousin's daughter. Her family was struck by tragedy, leaving Clara as the sole survivor. My mother felt bad for the poor girl struggling on her own, so she took her in and even went as far as giving her a new name and our family surname. Clara was openly hostile toward me, constantly undermining me and falsely accusing me both to my face and behind my back. Then act innocent in front of my family. Over the year, their favorability towards me plummeted from 99 to 40. Until last week, when the system said if they came to my game today, it would give me more time to finish the task. I tried everything I could, even threatening to jump off a building to get them to agree. But none of them came. Not a single one came. Even if you raised a dog for 10 years, you'd feel something for them, wouldn't you? I just want to stay alive. Why does it have to be so hard? Mom, did you see that trick I just pulled off? Lil bro, how cool was I out there? Want me to show you some moves later? Clara walked between her mom and dad, holding both of their hands. Mom tilted her head with a smile and gently tapped the tip of her nose. "Oh, you almost gave me a heart attack. I was so scared you might fall." Her scolding tone couldn't hide the affection beneath. My brother, in his school uniform and backpack, walked alongside the 3 of them, appearing as if he'd hurried over straight from class. "You're teaching me? Wanna bet I can outskate you in 3 days?" Talk about bragging. Bring it on. I walked home in a daze, but then I ran into the cheerful family in front of me. When they saw me, they froze for a moment, their smiles instantly dropping. Before I could get a word out, Dad frowned and snapped. Who are you showing off to, strutting around in that outfit without even changing? Daniel whistled and stirred the pot. You didn't even zip up your bag. Are you trying to make sure everyone knows you won? What's there to be so proud of? Following Daniel's comment, I glanced back and realized I had indeed left my backpack unzipped. My gaze fell to my dress. The once pristine white hem was smeared with mud, with even a few leaves clinging stuck to it. I couldn't help worrying. The dress was rented. Would they even take it back? Here I am, about to die, still worrying about this nonsense. I came back to my senses and couldn't help but laugh bitterly at myself. Big sister, your dress is so pretty. How about my outfit? Mom picked it for me. There were so many zeros on the price tag, but Dad didn't even blink when he paid. Hee bro said it looks good too. Now only sis hasn't said it's nice. I looked up at Clara dressed in a fish-themed costume. The skateboard with a red koi fish design was clutched tightly in Dad's arms. My heart couldn't help but ache, pierced by countless needles. Everyone else had family with them at their competitions, while year after year, I was the one running from competition to competition alone with 2 bags. One for the violin and another for clothes and other things. Clara's skateboard, a simple one, was still in Dad's hands. The more I thought about it, the more bitter I felt. I choked back tears and demanded, "Didn't you promise to come to my competition? Why didn't you show up today? Didn't I tell you I'd die if you didn't come?" I really would have died. Suddenly, a hard slap struck my face. Shut up. Always with the life and death drama. What are you trying to pull? You think death threats actually work on us? There are 4 people in the family, and you only bought 3 tickets. Who didn't you want to bring? Are you trying to isolate Clara? You've always been like this since you were little, and you're still like this. Mom's chest was rising and falling sharply, looking furious. Clara immediately stepped forward to help calm Mom down, then gently spoke. Mom didn't mean to say that.
Sis, don't be mad.
It's okay if I don't go to your competition. Next time let Mom come watch you, okay? Daniel quickly interjected, "No way. I don't care if Clara doesn't go. What's so great about a violin competition, anyway? It's not even cool. I like watching Clara on her skateboard much more. She's so awesome. I want to skate too." A mix of frustration, sadness, and helplessness, coupled with the fear of imminent death, overwhelmed me. I tried desperately to hold back my tears, but they flowed down uncontrollably, splashing onto the ground. Crying again. "You're nothing like me." Dad glanced at Mom, then turned to me seriously. "Your mom's right. You're used to going to competitions alone. This is Clara's first competition like this, and we're not going to ignore her just to accompany you. You're old enough now. As the older sister, you should learn to make way for your younger sister. This competition can wait. We're going to celebrate Clara's first competition and her great result. 4th place isn't bad." I watched them leave, their backs turned. For the first time, I realized how terrifying habits can be. I was used to being alone, so it didn't matter that no one was with me. The National Violin Competition champion went without celebration. The community's small skateboarding competition, 4th place, was worth celebrating. How ridiculous. It seemed they had forgotten that I was their biological child. I was only half a year older than Clara. "Host, I managed to get you another extension on your deadline." The cold mechanical voice rang out again. I wiped my tears and walked home alone, asking the system mentally, "Any other options? Tomorrow, if they celebrate your birthday for you, we can grant you an additional year." I stopped in my tracks and looked back at their retreating figures. Clara turned around and made a few funny faces at me, then stuck out her pinky finger. When Mom walked over to check on her, whatever Clara said made her shoot me another glare. Then Daniel also turned his head and rolled his eyes at me. No other conditions needed. Just them showing up counts as completion, the system added when I stayed silent. I smiled bitterly and replied, "Got it. Tomorrow is my birthday. My birthday in this world and my birthday back in the original world. I had forgotten that tomorrow was my birthday. After today, I'm not sure if they'll even show up. They love Clara so much. Would they even celebrate my birthday? After some consideration, I decided to take the chance. If I can have a second chance at life, why not fight for it? I clutched my phone, gathering my thoughts for what felt like ages before finally working up the courage to call Dad. It was answered in less than a second. Dad, you? I'm not Dad. Sis, what do you want? Haha, little brother, stop that. Quit smearing cake on me. Clara's giggling voice came through. Hearing the voice I hated most, my fingers instinctively clenched around the phone. Give the phone to Dad. I need to talk to him. Just say what you need to. I've got it on speaker. Mom and Dad can hear you. Ha ha, Mom. You're trying to get cake on me too? Tears welled up again, and I choked out. Give the phone to him. I really need to speak with him. After about 10 seconds, I finally heard Dad's voice. What is it? Just say what you need to. If it's nothing, I'm hanging up. Dad. I called out urgently, then asked timidly. Tomorrow's my birthday. Could you come home to celebrate with me? I was trembling nervously here. There was a pause of a few seconds on the other end before Dad's angry voice came through. So all this fuss was just for this? I thought you had some earth-shattering secret to whisper to me. Mom's sarcastic voice chimed in. Since when did we get a proper young lady in this house? Too timid to speak on speakerphone. Who exactly are you trying to imitate? Of course, it's our Clara. So poised and gracious. Everything about her is endearing. Oh, Mom, you've already said you love me 1,000 times today. If you keep this up, I'll die of embarrassment. Daniel snorted. Okay. We're coming home after dinner. Quit being dramatic. Hearing their agreement, I quickly blurted out, You must come back. I'll be waiting at home. You have to come back. The only response was the sound of the phone hanging up. Fortunately, they agreed. I was afraid they'd think it was a hassle and not show up, so I made sure to host it at home. After they finished dinner, they'll surely head back home. Looking at the clock on the wall, I couldn't help but wonder, would they actually show up? I fell asleep on the couch, and at the first light of dawn the next day, I rushed to knock on their bedroom door. But just like before, there was no response. I pushed the door open to an empty room. They really didn't come home last night. I anxiously called them, only to find their phones were turned off. Why did they lie to me again? Didn't they promise to come back? The mission deadline is midnight tonight. There's still time left, host. No need to panic, the system's voice reassured. In a final bit of hope, I sent them a text, almost begging that they had to come back today. With anxiety gnawing at me, I ordered a cake and had the maid prepare a whole table of dishes. The dishes were reheated repeatedly. From daybreak to nightfall, still no miracle came. In the final 5 minutes, I completely abandoned hope. How stupid of me. All these years, I never truly got through to them. My body started to ache as my consciousness began to fade. I knew my soul was leaving this body. System, after all these years of hard work, could you at least let me die in my original world? Just make the pain stop. I really hate how much it hurts. A moment later, when my body hit the floor, the system's mechanical voice responded. Request approved. I thought I'd return to my original body immediately after being separated from it, but instead, in my soul form, I watched my collapsed self rise from the floor. Since you failed your mission, you're being punished by witnessing an AI take over your life in this spectral state. I'm sorry, but you can't return to your original body yet. AI? So they're really letting AI replace humans now? I chuckled bitterly, curiosity mixing with the metallic taste in my mouth as I wondered how this artificial being would assume my existence. Data entry complete. The perfect daughter is now active. That was so thrilling. Mom, Dad, can I ride the roller coaster with you again next time? Of course, sweetheart. Whatever you want to ride next time. Mom and Dad will always be with you. Hey, don't forget about your little brother here. The family of 4 entered the house laughing and chatting, casually passing their shopping bags to the nanny. Their cheerful expressions vanished the moment they spotted me, standing across the room. The younger brother was the first to lash out. So we missed your birthday. Who are you making that face for? You've had 20-some birthdays already. Clara's never even been to an amusement park. Can't you let her have this one thing? It turned out they took Clara to the amusement park. I actually felt an urge to laugh at that moment. The sight of this picture-perfect family of 4 was so bitterly ironic. Their real daughter was dead, and they didn't even know.
Ah.
Clara gasped, covering her mouth.
I'm sorry, sis.
I forgot yesterday was your birthday. It was just a spur-of-the-moment idea to ask Mom and Dad to take us to the amusement park. Please don't be mad. Clara spoke as she approached the AI. Once face-to-face, she reached out to grab her hand, surreptitiously digging her nails into the back of it. When I pushed her away in pain, Clara dramatically collapsed to the floor, whimpering, I'm so sorry, sis. Please don't be mad at me. This trick had been pulled countless times in just a single year, yet they swallowed it every damn time. We were the ones who decided to take Clara to the amusement park, Lingu. If you've got issues, bring them to us. What's so tough about picking on your sister? They thought I would be furious, but instead, I cheerfully strode over to help Clara up. Oopsie, my bad little sis. Totally on me. Did that fall hurt ya? I'm sorry. My mother, mid-scolding, froze. Even floor-seated Clara gaped. I never apologized to Clara, nor bent to them. What they didn't realize. This shell now had brand new wiring under the hood. Grinning, AI tugged Clara onto the couch. So, what did you guys ride at the park? Spill the details. I'm totally going next time. Clara stumbled over her words, struggling to respond. What are you up to now? What schemes are you pulling this time, Lingu? Daniel suddenly grabbed Clara and eyed the AI on the couch with wary scrutiny. AI, instead of getting angry, casually stood up and patted Daniel's shoulder. You little punk, who do you think you're talking to? Take me skateboarding with you next time. Looking at the grinning face before him, Daniel felt an increasing sense of unease. No matter what they said, the AI never lost its temper. It was like throwing a punch into cotton. These days, no matter what they say or do, AI always keeps smiling and chats away effortlessly, with no trace left of its former cautiousness. As I watched AI, a pang of bitterness welled up inside me. The truth is, I'm not naturally timid. It's just that 10 years of being pushed around by them, 10 years of trying to please 3 people, it's all worn me down. A sudden gasp ripped me from my melancholy. Looking down, I saw Clara clutching half a torn photo, while AI held the remaining piece. Worried Clara might get bullied, Daniel charged upstairs in one go. I knew you've been faking it all along. Acting all innocent to your face while sneaking around to hurt Bao. Zhu Jie behind backs. When Daniel saw the photo torn in half, the words died in his throat. It was a photo I treasured, the only one from when they actually came with me to that gala audition. Years ago, when Daniel accidentally stained this photo, I, who had never lost my temper before, straight up grabbed him by the ear and landed 2 slaps across his face. That was the only time I ever lost my temper. The whole family knew exactly how precious that photo was to me.
Bah.
Clara Jia, she must not have done it on purpose. No big deal. Just a photo. Daniel thought I would be furious, but the AI just shrugged. Honestly, I never liked how this photo turned out anyway. Good thing it's gone. What did you just say? Daniel's voice shot up, staring at AI with utter disbelief. All right, bro. Stop fighting with your sister over me already. Clara reached for Daniel's hand, but he yanked it back sharply. Shut your mouth. He turned and stared daggers at AI. What do you mean it's nothing? Wasn't this your most treasured photo? AI frowned in confusion, seeming to struggle with processing his words. Left alone, Clara headed downstairs by herself, sensing the awkwardness. Daniel remained behind, still waiting for AI's response. You've always loved this photo. How can you not be upset that it's torn? Who's Daniel putting on this act for? He used to scold me for hoarding worthless stuff, so what's this all about now? After a moment's thought, AI smiled again, turned to the drawer, and pulled out a photo album that held just a few pictures. Hey, brat, wanna rip one too? Here, pick one yourself. Just don't come whining that I'm playing favorites later. The album also held the remaining few photos of all four of us together. Daniel ended up storming off in a rage. AI didn't understand why he was upset. I couldn't figure out what exactly was bothering him either. To win Daniel over, AI rushed downstairs after him. On the way, Mom stopped her. "Make me a pot of tea." "Which tea?" "Dragon Well in the second left drawer of the kitchen," I repeated silently to myself. To win Mom's favor, I made a point of learning tea brewing and even took up the violin, all because she once mentioned that girls who play the violin carry themselves with grace. "Just do it the usual way." Mom waved her hand impatiently, so AI had to go brew the tea carelessly by itself. Within 2 minutes, the tea was brought out. Mom stared at the paper cup in bewilderment. "How is brewing a simple cup of tea this difficult?" The AI said plaintively. "But this is tea." I was shocked and asked the system, "Didn't the AI adapt to my habits?" The system explained that it only considered what kind of daughter they wanted, but completely forgot about this part. Why has this been so spaced out lately? "Let me help Mom with the tea." Clara suddenly popped up out of nowhere, and Mom's face immediately lit up with delight. "I've always said daughters are their mom's sweetest comfort. Looks like I'll be needing my sweetheart's help again." Hee hee, not at all. I'd be over the moon if Mom asked me to help every day. With a beaming smile, Clara yanked the AI into the kitchen. After shutting the kitchen door, she instantly dropped the act. "Lingu, what game are you playing at? You think you can just steal my family like this?" Her family? What a joke. Her family's been dead for ages. She was the one who stole my family, yet now she's distorting right and wrong while putting on that self-righteous act. In my spirit form, I swung at Clara a few times and finally felt some relief. "Sis, I'm not up to anything. Go make Mom's tea already. I'll just watch and learn." The AI walked over and tried to give Clara a buddy-like pat, but she shoved her away violently. "What are you trying to pull, Lingu? Cut the act. You really think I won't get Mom and Dad to kick you out?" Clara hissed a threat at the AI under her breath. The AI tilted her head in confusion. "Why would you want me kicked out? What did I do wrong? Would you like me to apologize to you?" Clara, furious at the AI's composure, jabbed a finger at her through gritted teeth. "If you love pretending this much, I'll let you have your fill. We'll see whether Mom loves me or you in the end." No sooner had the words left her mouth than Clara grabbed the teapot from the table and smashed it onto the floor. She closed her eyes and resolutely sat down on the shards. By the time Mom and Dad heard the crash and rushed over, Clara's eyes had already welled up with tears. "Sis, what did I do wrong? Why are you doing this to me?" The AI stood there explaining. "I don't know why, Clara," but no one listened. "Look what you've done to your sister. I know you've never liked Clara. Bullying her behind our backs was bad enough. But to do it right in front of us? How dare you?" Dad was furious and slapped the AI hard across the face. Her fair, dewy skin flushed crimson, swelling instantly under the impact. After slapping her, Dad shook out his hand like it hurt. The AI wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and continued explaining with a furrowed brow. "I really didn't do anything wrong. Why did you slap me, Dad? You're just a bunch of code. How could you possibly understand human hearts? Your father was being lenient by just hitting you. Look at your sister. She's bleeding." Mom's voice shook with anger. Someone chimed in, "If she dares to bully Clara like this right at home, just imagine how much Clara has endured. Lingu, you must kneel and apologize to your sister this instant." Daniel's gaze remained fixed on the AI. For once, he didn't even glance at Clara's injuries. "If apologizing on my knees will make you happy, then I'll gladly do it." "Clara, I'm sorry for hurting you." "Enough." The AI started to kneel, but halfway through the motion, Mom frowned sharply and called out to stop her. At that moment, Daniel yanked her upright. "Why are you actually kneeling down? You're not supposed to be like this. What's really going on with you?" Daniel grabbed the AI by the collar and kept grilling her. Mom looked up at the AI with a complicated expression, not even registering Clara's repeated calls. Finally, Dad interjected, "We'll settle this later. Right now, let's get Clara to the hospital." Clara has been hospitalized. The AI specially baked a strawberry cake at home to visit her. Data shows that getting closer to Clara will help me progress toward the mission objectives. I followed the AI to the hospital. When the AI entered, the entire family gazed at her with mixed emotions. She alone remained oblivious to their stares. Normally, the three of them would have been hurling sarcastic remarks by now, but this time they were all just sitting there in silence. Hee, Mom. Let me slice the cake for everyone. AI maintained her cheerful persona, grabbing the knife without waiting for a response. Not getting a response, she swiftly sliced a piece of strawberry-topped cake and thrust it toward Mom. Mom, please don't be mad. It's all my fault. As AI spoke, she pushed the cake into Mom's hand, ignoring her shocked and disbelieving look, then even tried to feed her the strawberry. Lingu, I'm allergic to strawberries. Did you forget? AI froze, then apologized word by word. Sorry, Mom. You're not my daughter. Then who are you? Mom held her head in her hands, as if refusing to confront reality. Lingu, how could you possibly forget my strawberry allergy? AI instinctively explained. Apologies, there must have been a data input error. What did you say? Daniel was right beside Mom, having heard every word with perfect clarity. What data entry? Lingu, what on earth are you talking about? You're not my sister? What did you do with her? Get lost and give my sister back right now. Daniel became extremely enraged, grabbing AI by the neck and shaking her violently. How could my sister be like this? Mom sat in the chair, chiming in. Exactly. This isn't Lingu at all. Dad adjusted his glasses. What are you talking about? If this isn't Lingu, then who could it be? I thought it would take them much longer to figure it out. As for Dad, he'd always been a workaholic who never bothered with family affairs. It wasn't until Clara came to our family that he started coming home more often. The most absurd part was that not a single one of them tried to stop Daniel. He nearly choked the life out of AI. They were questioning if she was really me, yet they stood by and watched me get choked to death. It was such a disconnect. Malfunction? Reboot. The AI glitched under Daniel's chokehold, system stuttering before going limp. After uttering those words, her entire body abruptly went limp. Daniel was startled and hurriedly laid her on the bed. The family was stunned by the scene, frozen in utter bewilderment. By the time they snapped back to reality and tried to summon a doctor, the AI had already finished rebooting. Mom, would you all like some cake? The AI's smile at that moment was eerily unsettling. They didn't believe this was me, but after conducting a DNA test on the AI, they fell silent. Who the hell are you? Where's my sister? What did you do to her? Daniel confronted AI, his voice shaking with agitation. No matter how agitated he became, the AI simply quipped, Hey, little brat, so concerned about me? You need a favor or something. The whole family was being driven mad by the AI. That night, while I was bored out of my mind, Daniel crept into the room and began speaking to the inactive AI. Sis, where the hell have you gone? I miss you so damn much. I know this is hard to explain, but this woman isn't you at all. Daniel started talking about the past. He kept droning on and on about all these trivial details until my ears were practically calloused. I thought he had no idea. This year, I even started questioning if those 9 years were all just a dream.
I'm sorry, sis.
The reason I've always been so mean to you is because Daniel wiped his tears and continued with a choked voice. I was always scared you'd tell Mom and Dad about me stealing money when I was a kid. That's why I've been so mean to you. Was it all just over this? I yelled furiously at Daniel, but he couldn't hear me at all. After Daniel finished speaking, he left with tears wiped away, but I was too furious to fall asleep. Before dawn, the house was filled with knocking and banging again, just as I'd finally managed to fall asleep floating in midair. When I walked into the living room, there was Mom with a bunch of people in yellow robes. Master, has my daughter truly had her soul stolen? The master in charge stroked his beard. Right, I'll conduct a soul-summoning ritual for her. Watching the group perform the ritual with such solemnity, I couldn't help but ask the system, does any of this actually work? It's useless. This is just a side instance, replied the system. I thought I'd finally get to scold them. Since my soul left my body, my feelings for them had been fading away until all I was left with was this lingering sense of injustice. 10 long years of hard work. This isn't my fault. It's all on them. Even raising a dog for a decade would have formed some bond. Mom, what's everyone doing here? The noise roused the AI too. She came downstairs beaming. Shall I bring tea for the gentlemen? The master chanted gibberish at the AI, his mouth moving in unintelligible murmurs. Yet through all his actions, the AI maintained its serene smile. Seeing it was no use, Mom started cursing and kicked them out. What have you done with my daughters? My mom sank onto the couch, utterly drained. Lately, she hadn't even been checking on her beauty salon, spending all her time trying to figure out how to get me back. She even ignored her usual favorite, Clara. Clara, terrified of losing the hard-won family ties she'd struggled to build, even resorted to self-harm to win Mom's sympathy. Yet Mom turned a blind eye to it all. My dad also found her behavior unbelievable. What's the deal with you two? Lingu is right here, in one piece. Look how gaunt Clara's become these days. If you won't show her compassion, I will. If Dad hadn't spoken up, things might have been okay. But the moment he did, Mom seemed to find an outlet to vent her anger. It's all your fault. You never come home. You don't even care about your daughter. Lingu, you gave her these cursed names. That's why my daughter vanished. My dad was baffled. Why are you dragging me into this? Wasn't it you who wanted to raise another's child as our own? I'm out there earning our keep. Without my paycheck, how do you think we'd survive? Clara, now in the spotlight, stood awkwardly to the side. My mom bit her lip, fighting back tears. Yes, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have resented her for being my mirror. In hurting her, I've wounded not just this child, but the little girl I used to be. I should die. I should just die. My mom broke down, pounding her head. Clara stepped forward to comfort her, but Mom shoved her away. Your mother was introverted and quiet as a child. Her parents didn't think a daughter like that was good enough, so they tried to force her into becoming more outgoing through scolding and hitting. Maybe seeing you is like looking in a mirror for her. That's why she's been ignoring you on purpose. While I was trying to make sense of what Mom had said, the system helpfully filled me in. So that's it. Both of them have their reasons for disliking me. What about Dad? Why doesn't Dad love me? The system fell silent for a moment.
Sorry.
No matching records found in the data. I've heard some dads just don't care much about their kids. He treats you and Daniel pretty much the same. Maybe that's why. I pouted. Well, I thought there might be something more to it, something to give myself some closure. Now, it seems I was just overthinking it. Humans are truly peculiar, the AI blurted out unexpectedly, watching the two humans before it locked in a heated argument. Didn't your daughter say that if you didn't go, she would die? Now you all seem to be in such agony? I've become the perfect daughter you desired. Why aren't you happy yet? The mother froze, then burst into hysterical sobs. What are you saying? What's wrong with my daughter? The AI answered flatly, dead. I replaced her to live with you. You wanted a poised, obedient daughter who never talks back, and I became exactly that. Why aren't you happy yet? Daniel screamed in despair. You killed my sister? Why would you kill her? The AI shook her head. I didn't kill her. She raised her hand toward Clara. You did. Clara immediately denied. No, I didn't. I didn't kill anyone. I was right here with you all along. Daniel cried out in anguish. Why would you do this? We showed you kindness out of pity. Why did you steal my sister from us? The mother pleaded through her tears. Clara, did you make her come here? Get her to return my daughter right now, will you? The father frowned and remained silent. The AI's finger pointed at each of them in turn. You're all murderers. 2 chances to save her existed. You had 2 chances to save her, and you blew them both. Since you both missed the chance to save her, that proves you never truly loved her. Then why won't you accept me now? I don't understand. Please explain this to me. The AI's blunt words were a slap in the face to everyone present. Mom stared blankly at my lifeless form. It's true. Everything she said is true. Suddenly, Mom charged at Clara and choked her throat with both hands, screaming hysterically, This is all your fault. Both times you stopped us from going. I took you in out of pity. Why did you hurt my daughter? She's my own flesh and blood that I carried for 10 moons.
It was all just an act.
Even though I've been here for 10 years through time travel, I retained all my memories and physical sensations. They never cherished their own daughter back then. What's the use of their regret now? I watched Clara lying on the floor with tears streaming down her face, refusing to push Mom away. How pitiful, yet pitiable people always harbor their own wretchedness. Clara's biological parents favored sons over daughters. When she first came to our home, there wasn't a single patch of unbruised skin on her body. Once she tasted the warmth of family, she clung to it desperately. If Dad hadn't pulled Mom away, Clara might have truly died right there. My mother and Daniel seemed to have gone mad. One night, they murdered Clara first, then lured Father back from the company. After they got him to drink, he passed out. Then they set the house ablaze, trapping the AI and my father in the flames to perish together. It was all so strange. What was the point of doing all this now? In the end, I thought I might finally die, but the system informed me the scenario had collapsed due to an AI system malfunction. Given what Mom and Daniel did in the end, my mission was barely considered successful. I could keep living in my original timeline. With one final glance at the doomed world awaiting destruction, I sank into unconsciousness. Xingyue, you're finally awake. When Mom saw I was awake, she cried tears of joy. Looking at the middle-aged woman with salt and pepper hair, I couldn't hold back my tears and plunged into her warm embrace. I've missed you so much. I missed you so much. To spare my mother the agony of outliving her own child, I did everything I could to keep them happy. Here, I'm not Lingu, no longer alone and unloved. I'm Yun Xingyue, her star and her moon.